What's going down? How you doing, people? TK Pryor coming at you, and I just want to hit you guys with the concept, as I always hit you guys with concepts, of me talking to myself. You know, a lot of people tell me, I'll see your videos and I don't have a clue what you're talking about. So realistically, I'm just talking to myself, but doing it on video, so you can look at me and laugh and say, hey, how's that gold thing going? Which a lot of people ask me that question. And in my mind, I want to be impolite and say, well, the real question to you is, how's that deflation thing going? You know, with your low purchasing power in paper money, how's that going for you? But hey, people are people. And a lot of people have no effing clue that there's a better way. You know, you do everything that they tell you to do, and you look at life like this is the only way. And that's just not true. There are people that don't live by the same slavery rules that you live by. So when you see a Bill Gates, that lets you know that there's another way. Oh, that's not for me. That's for the rulers. And the rulers deserve to have Bill Gates status, and we don't deserve that, is what you say mentally, because your actions support not doing anything to become the same status. So think about this. What if Bill Gates felt like you did? You know, if he felt the same chains and the mental limitations that you feel. You know, what if Steve Jobs felt the same way? So in other words, the rulers who, quote unquote, are billionaires and are entitled to what you're not entitled to, they would have never added the ingenuity that they added to the rest of the world if they felt the same way you do mentally. If they had the same mental chains that you have on, then we wouldn't have a lot of innovations in society. So the thing is, I talk to people in Facebook world, so anyone has the video and could watch it. So I talk to you as if you can be a Bill Gates, you can be a Steve Jobs. I talk to you as if you can make choices within your own life that allow you to become the 1% super rich. Because if you focus on what the super rich focus on, and you begin to make choices that they make, then you can produce some of the same results. Let me give you an example. The super rich have never held their assets in paper. They hold their assets in higher forms of money that maintain wealth over the long term. Keep a store of value within the items that they maintain their assets in. So that's the real definition of money. Can what you store maintain its value over time? Paper money does not maintain value over time. It loses purchasing power the longer you hold it. And ultimately, all paper returns to its intrinsic value of zero. Ask India or anyone in India what the 2000 note rupee is worth right now. Zero, because it was deleted by the government. So all paper returns to its intrinsic value, and paper itself is the worst way to store your wealth, right? So are you living for today, right now, or are you living for the next 5 years? Why is it that Americans are incapable of success tactics, of business strategy? Because I speak to you like if you are smart enough to make a different decision. I speak to you as if you do have the power to dictate your own life. So if you make decisions in 21st century, in 2017, to actually focus on assets, minimize liabilities, and participate in turnkey business systems that allow your money to work for you. Actually leverage your money so that it brings back a residual income to your household. If you make that kind of decision, then it will change your life. Why? Because if you spin paper, or I should say convert paper, to higher forms of money like gold, silver, and Bitcoin, the surprise is you're going to explode in value in the near future. Why? Because in a crisis, when paper devaluation becomes more visible, it creates a demand for higher forms of money, right? And that demand typically in the capital flight from fiat money to those higher forms of money, that creates higher prices in the other forms of money. You see, money never dies. It always transfers from one asset class to another. So when we talk about the wealth transfer that is upcoming, that in detail is what we are referring to. So the problem, in fact, that people don't understand, pay attention, nor think is going to happen, is the reason why the wealth transfer means nothing when you hear it. The greatest wealth transfer in human history is on the precipice or on the cliff of becoming reality because of the $20 trillion in debt in U.S. society, but over $200 trillion in debt worldwide. And statistically, we reach a critical tipping point within statistics where corrections happen. Typically in economics, we call those corrections bubbles. But the nature of a bubble and the nature of a financial correction is an equilibrium within an uneven scale. So to level out the playing field, you have 1929. But every single cycle increases in momentum, and the results of the next cycle is worse than the previous. So the upcoming financial collapse will be greater than anything before, because as an avalanche or as a snowball rolls downhill, it gains momentum and picks up snow along the way. So that is the equivalent of the correction or the statistical scale tip that is forthcoming. Well, people say that's never going to happen. It has happened before. It always repeats itself. Man is the one that thinks they could outsmart nature, but nature sets the rules within life. And even if you're arrogant enough to live outside of those rules, you still face the consequences. So ignorance, not knowing there's a better way, not making the personal decision to have financial insurance, doesn't save you from the drama. So if you touch a plate and the plate is hot, guess what? It doesn't matter if you didn't know it was hot. You still face the consequences. So you not having financial insurance, boom, you get into a car accident. Just pray that you survive. This is TK. I'm coming at you trying to open up minds, not accounts. Financial insurance is a personal choice, and what you do to change your financial future is solely up to you, because if you focus on assets, if you convert paper money to gold, silver, and Bitcoin, it's going to save your future. That instantly puts you in the class of the 1%, because only 1% of America is smart enough to own gold, silver, and Bitcoin. So the question you have to ask yourself, How much do you own? How smart are you? And why would you want to keep something that is losing value? Paper is losing value. There's a currency war going on globally, and paper is the target in the war. The winner of the war is the one left standing. The losers are all other forms of paper that basically have no purchasing power. So why would you be stupid enough to hold on to paper when you know that not only is it losing value, that its ultimate goal is to return to zero? So tell me how much sense that makes. Now, the 1% look at us as sheep and say we're not smart enough to make our own decisions. That's why we need to be ruled over by the lords, the people who don't operate. The 1% don't do what we do. They don't make our living decisions. They don't live by debt. They don't live by credit. They don't overextend themselves. They make their money work for them. They don't work for money. I mean, come on. Act like I'm talking to people who have intelligence higher than what the television programs. Okay? You have to feed your mind with the same way you feed your body. You know, if you feed it junk food and you feed it toxic chemicals, which is what's in most of our food, then maybe that's the reason why you can't understand anything I'm saying. Maybe that's the reason why you operate on such a low vibrational level that you only respond to animalistic cravings. And the only thing that motivates you is need or want. Maybe if your energy rate was higher and your vibrational rate wasn't so minimalistic, then you wouldn't be so animalistic. But I can get deep, and I already know that I'm losing people. So I'm going to end this video by saying, make different choices. Get gold, get silver, get Bitcoin.